We were literally just talking about this before we started rolling, Shubhika. So you may not like the first question, but here I go. Papa Don't Preach brides are bold, they are playful, they're sophisticated, and it's impossible to ignore a bride that you've dressed, okay,
Yeah.
because of the colors that you choose, because of the embroidery. In a world that leans so much towards tradition, especially in India, what does it mean to design for a rule-breaking bride?
You can use the word fun.
Okay.
I'm not gonna mind. No, I actually love being seen as a designer who designs for the rule breaking, fun loving, bold brides. I don't have a problem with that at all. I in fact really enjoy that because I see myself as that. And it was something that even I was trying to figure out, I think 3-4 years ago, when we saw that my sales in the US were way higher than my sales in India. And this was just when Chrissy Teigen wore us and just when Paris Hilton wore us. And I was just like, what's going on? Because it was like a 40-60 split, 40% India sales, 60% there. And I was like, I packed my bags and I went there and I did a pop-up, and there I met these lovely influencers and Brown Girl magazine that set up like a huge event for me where I got to meet all the influencers there who are just really pushing Indian fashion and Indian workmanship and Indian skincare way louder than we were here.
And I do think you somehow fall in that perfect mix because you represent modern India with your choice, your technique, your choice of colors, techniques, fabrics. But at the same time, everything, like you said, is very rooted in Indian tradition.
Absolutely. Tradition in terms of workmanship, right? Like we have third generation karigars sitting. These, my karigars, if you look at Asad Bhai, you look at Mustaqeen Bhai, they started learning this at 6 years of age.
Yeah.
And it was really like a Karate Kid kind of a world where you had to go out and look for your guru or your ustad. So these are the karigars who are sitting and working with us, about 100 of them. And say one lehenga, when it spreads out on a cart, on a frame, 15 karigars sit on it. So when you calculate, when we have to see the efficiency of a production unit, one karigar actually ends up making only 1 or 1.5 lehenga a month, depending on the intricacy of the design. Because what we do differently is, we don't really make one lehenga jisme sirf zardozi kaam or thread work or just sequence work. There will be one enamel flower, on top of that I'll put a metal flower, on top of that I'll put 3 different kinds of beads, and if you see, it's so 3D, it's almost
one
like my
badla
ring.
somewhere on top of all of this.
Yes, so the story keeps changing in the whole lehenga,
So that's why, Shubhika, you mind when somebody just like dilutes the work and says this is fun. It's not just fun, there's legacy, there's history of the karigars who are making it. It's also like your brainchild, because no two lehengas are the same, no two embroidery work is the same.
Absolutely.
When I look at any piece from Papa Don't Preach, it feels like a jewelry designer has sat and assembled a piece of jewelry and then put it onto my clothing.
It actually feels like that. Even like Mehndi, where you keep adding one more thing, one more element.
Yeah.
That's how I build my design. It kind of starts from the center and I keep adding, okay, one more bead here, one more. And then we all stand and look at it, and I get onto a high table and my Mustaqeen bhai and Usman bhai and I'll be like, ye madam ji pink bead acha nahi lag raha hai. We co-design. It literally is co-designing with all of them. And some of them have such a sharp sense of color and balance. It's amazing to discover the talent there. So we'll get onto a high table and we look down and you'll be like, we'll hold hands like this and we look at a design like that, because we do so many things that we have to see smaller spaces in isolation to see is it working or no, and then to have it replicated or copied, or even for somebody to just say, if there is a handloom day or there is a very cultural heritage centric celebration that probably publications are doing, we're still seen as fun.
When did you decide to go and have this kind of a departure from what a traditional Indian lehenga is seen as?
I just don't know any other way to be, honestly.
Okay.
I don't know. It's not a strategy. It is not a planned outcome at all. The input is very strategic to say that, we need to make a red lehenga and we need to do a gold lehenga, and then we'll all get together and we'll be like, no, this, they'll be like, Shubhika, you won't be able to do it. You won't. It'll become colorful. Be like, I will do it. And I put it on the cart and then I just start adding colors and it just takes its own shape and form. So even if my strategy tells me to do an all gold, it'll sell. Do an all red, it'll sell. My brain will just not at all allow me to be so. So it was not a departure, it wasn't a conscious decision. And luckily, right from the beginning of me being this way, I just got so much love from especially Instagram and the community that I built there, that I really didn't feel like I needed to be any other way.
Okay, so you've dressed so many brides who've always come to you and said that I want something different.
Yeah.
Okay, What emotions or reactions do you remember the most, especially when somebody saw themselves in your outfit for the first time?
Two, three things that I really remember distinctly. I think it was about like 8 years ago, and I was trying to tell the bride, why don't you pair, this blouse with this lehenga, and it looked really good. And she's like, no, but that's not Papa Don't Preach. Like somebody else was telling me what Papa Don't Preach was, and that really excited me to say, okay, now it's no longer just mine. It is an idea that has its own personality, shape, and form outside of me, which people are recognizing, loving, befriending, and wanting to wear. So that for me was thrilling, that it no longer was for me to carry. It had legs.
It was everybody's.
Yeah,
it is everybody's.
It is everybody's, and everybody had such a clear idea of what it was. And I mean, that for me is a mark of success, when it no longer is just your responsibility. And the second one was when she told me, when you see a lehenga, it looks like it's a person. Like it looks alive. Keep walking closer to it and you see different elements and you're like, it has so much personality. So I think these two were clear markers to me that whatever I'm putting into my work is getting recognized and is getting appreciated. And sometimes there are times when I can't really see why a piece is exciting someone, but they kind of give me that. Like, I don't know how to explain this.
Who, according to you, has been the most iconic representation of your brand? For me, it's Alok Menon.
Alok Menon, hands down. Simply because they just, even they just are. Like how I'm describing my work, it just is.
Yeah.
They just are. There is no pretense there. There is no effort there. And then if you look at it from a very fashion-focused lens, it was Paris Hilton. I remember Mohit Rai texting me saying, I'm dressing Paris for Harper's Bazaar and ma'am only wants to wear your outfit. And I was like, and this was like 4-5 years ago, and I was like, what are you saying, Mohit? No, and I'm messaging him again. He stopped texting me. He said, it's not fitting her. She's saying, it's fine. I'll just put my hand like this and I'll walk.
I remember that pose.
Yeah, so it was so clear for her, somebody who is so confident about fashion and her relationship with fashion, that she didn't need anybody else to tell her that's not cool or that's cool. She knew it and she picked it up and she wanted to wear it. And she didn't end up wearing just one, she wore 5 of mine. She made a reel on her page, sent me a voice note saying, I love it, the workmanship. And I was like, this is a person who really gets it, without me having to say, don't be scared of colors, don't be scared of embellishments, don't be scared of, you have to explain, especially people who come from the West. They look at all the stuff that we do. Like even when my pieces are hanging in pop-ups internationally, they love it. Like they'll come to it like, like it's something so beautiful, but they're so scared to even try it on, but it's not for me.
It's like an art object almost.
Yeah. So it can be intimidating.
I agree. There's a beautiful contradiction in your bridal wear. It's rebellious, and like I said, it's still rooted in tradition. How do you draw that line between edgy and emotional, especially because it's regards to somebody's big day?
Yeah, it's hard for me to do that. It's really hard for me. I think years of experience with working with brides has taught me a lot. They've taught me a lot about, I like my arm to be covered this way, or like this sleeve length is flattering for me, or necklines shaped like this are more flattering. So I've learned a lot on the job while working with brides. It's not something that came to me instinctively, because I'm somebody who would just dress my body. And I would imagine myself and be like, oh, I want to be a red bride. I love being a red bride, even though people may not associate that with me. Yeah, so that's how I've learned how to balance it.
In your opinion, what makes a bride a fun bride? And is it just about color and sparkle, or is it something deep that they carry within them that makes them a fun bride?
So when I talk about Papa Don't Preach, I describe it as alphabets. Okay, and I'm giving you like these really fun, colorful alphabets, and you kind of put them together and tell your own story. A real Papa Don't Preach bride is who is very comfortable and confident in letting the world know her story. She doesn't use it to cover herself or belong to a trend or be safe, or for people to say, बहुत प्यारी लग रही थी stage पे खड़ी होके, she was shining. She is not afraid to say, this is who I am. Like a very good way to understand fashion for me was that, like when you picture a camera and there's your hero that enters the frame or heroine that enters the frame and doesn't say anything. It is through fashion that they are inviting you close to them, to know them and to get to experience them without even them talking or interacting with you. So for me, it's such a powerful tool of expression that when I walk in, I'm not afraid for you to know who I really am. I'm somebody who loves color, who's unafraid to stand out. I'll wear red lipstick. I'm not afraid of you looking at my mouth when I'm speaking. I'm sure of my words. You know, that's how I think a Papa Don't Preach bride is. She is actually afraid to blend in and afraid to belong.
It's the other way around.
It's the other way around.
Okay. Is that how you are as a person?
I'm an extremely moody person. You see what I'm wearing today. It's a rainy day. So
I was
like,
shocked.
yeah, it's a rainy day. I was like, I have to wear ivory. So I'm very, very moody, which is why I don't take fashion too seriously in the sense of now this is who I am. I think it is something that you put on and it gives you a certain energy for that day. It's like a superhero costume. Like today I want to be Wonder Woman, or today I want to be like this lazy girl. I want to be, you know, laid back. And that's why they're alphabets, you know, you tell your own story, every day it changes, and that's who I am. But as a person, yeah, probably I am.
Take me to that time where Papa Don't Preach has just launched, and somebody, I'm sure, would have asked you, but can I really wear this on my wedding
They
day?
still ask me.
Has that perception changed over a few years?
I think that personal style is kind of dying out, and that is an issue, right? There is an urgent need to belong, which is why we are seeing so many trends come up. And I remember one of my colleagues, her cousin visited our office, and she from the US, she was so excited to see an Indian office, and she was like, oh my god, you all dress like us back home. So she went back really like disappointed because she thought there'd be like Indian people at work, you know,
Wearing zardozi
yeah, but no,
in office.
Zardozi are like kurtas or like, you know, something more Indian, or probably saris, why not? But we were just all in crop tops and like baggy pants and things like that.
Yeah.
So I think personal style has really taken a hit, and it is very unfortunate that that has happened. So yeah, people still want to ensure that they are safe, that they will not be criticized for wearing something that is really like out there, which is why they are like, okay, on Mehendi I will wear something colorful, so that at least there, you know, my mother-in-law will be happy, or my mom will be happy that I'm wearing a safe lehenga, and etc. I don't think that the journey of our customer has been that there are so many entry points, right? Like I cannot really compare somebody who saw me 13 years ago. I don't think they're still following me in the same fashion. I don't think they're all the brides who are approaching me now, right? Like, so people still come in fresh. Oh, I saw this post, or I saw this reel, or I saw this, I saw you at the pop-up, my friend wore you. Can I really wear this? You know, or help me figure it out. Which is why when I do pop-ups, I make sure I'm there, because that really gives people the confidence that when I say, and on all my pop-ups I wear the heavy outfits and I'm wearing my heels to show them how comfortable it is and how you can actually like do this. And the aunties will be like, वो तो तू तो गोरी है ना इसलिए तेरे पे अच्छा लग रहा है, तू तो पतली है इसलिए अच्छा लग रहा है. So yeah, there are so many restrictions actually for personal style to really just
Shine through.
Yeah, there's too much of that.
How are you working towards changing that
I mean,
perception?
Bollywood is such a strong reflection of that, I'm sorry to say.
Strong reflection of what?
The personal style doesn't exist.
Okay, right. Yeah, fair, because
Because
also
when
we are stylists who make
when
them
we are
look like
seeing
themselves.
Couture Week, when we are seeing showstoppers, I don't think the designers really want all the showstoppers to look exactly like the other designer showstopper. But these are like instructions that come from
Their stylists.
their stylists, the brands who are sponsoring the shows or stuff like that, to say, no, it needs to be an all gold look, it needs to be an all pink look, it needs to be whatever.
Yeah.
So we don't even really see them being
No, what do you have to say
This is a
about that?
controversial bit.
You know, you and controversy, like Ori said, controversy and him go hand in hand, but
Yeah.
the same is with you, Shubhika. Controversy and you go hand in hand. Okay.
Don't know if that's a good thing.
Your clothing is fun and rebellious. You have to be the latter.
Yeah, I hope we see personal style coming back, and Bollywood has such a strong voice and it's such an amazing platform that it would be epic to see them actually.
The last few Bollywood weddings, all of them have been pastel. Did you get bored seeing that?
100%. Actually, like I miss red. Like, where is the red bride? It is boring, and I think there are many reasons to why that is. But largely, it is people are afraid to be criticized and to be, you know, why color was ridiculed, because it was African American and an Indian way of dressing, right? So the Westerners came and said, okay, the pale blues and all are elevated and expensive, and this is poor people's stuff. So everybody's so scared of looking like Cinderella's stepsisters. They are always dressed in yellows and oranges, and Cinderella is in like this pale blue. And why is that? So color is always seen as the people who lacks probably style, who lack class. So it is just so deeply ingrained. It's systemic almost. So you can't really point fingers to say, hey, why aren't you being cool, or why is this magazine not putting like fabulous, where is Manish Arora, like where did he go? It's systemic. It's like you have to reprogram your brain to say color is cool. And it's okay, if color is cool, how do I style color and still look expensive when I walk into a room? Who's gonna tell us that? Are the magazines gonna tell us that? Are the people we look up to in pop culture gonna give us that? Nobody's really giving us that right now.
I think the Gen Zs and the Gen Alphas will change that, because they are not really afraid to be who they are, which is why I also see a lot more people now wearing Papa Don't Preach on their wedding day, which I may have not seen it that much in the years that you may have begun, but I see that becoming more and more the norm.
Yeah, I'm very clear. My future is very bright, because
It's literally and figuratively, it's very bright.
It's bright in the sense of, I know that my biggest TA is Gen Z. Like,
Yeah.
they love
Color.
us. They love our energy. They love the ethos of the brand. And you know, they are one of the first people who like stand up for me and, you know, show love in the community on
Yeah.
Instagram, right? So I know that when they do come into that age where they have more disposable income, or they're probably getting married sometime in the future, that's when we will
They're all coming.
flourish.
They're all coming. Okay, so if you had to create a bridal look for your younger self, the girl who first dreamt about Papa Don't Preach, what would your outfit look like?
I think everything that is in my store right now is exactly what I dreamt of, and I move on very quickly from whatever I make. Sometimes I go back into the store and I'm like, I made that, you know, oh, look at that
changes too
embroidery.
soon.
It changes immediately, right? Because for me, I'm not even that committed to fashion per se. It is just one of my canvases. So that is why now we're going into jewelry, high jewelry, and we've always done shoes, we've done bags. I'm launching my home line soon, and we've already done all the rugs in our store, so that's also part of the home collection. So
You have 2 seasons of your podcast.
yeah. So for me, it is an entire universe. It really is just a personality now, more than it being a fashion label. So I move on very quickly. There is not one garment, and I mean, I don't know. Let's see.
If you could design a bridal outfit which was not for a wedding, bridal outfit not for a wedding, but for a woman who was marrying her ambition, her queerness, her free will, what would that look like?
If you're talking about free will, then it can't be one outfit, right? It's so anything that you walk into Papa Don't Preach stores today and pick up is that outfit, because you've just mentioned something that I can't really box and say that one outfit.
Okay.
For me, if I had to dress up for this, I have this really beautiful, really beaded full sleeve top. I love full sleeves. It's called Papa's Hot Sauce. So I probably think that would be the one.
Indian weddings are a spectacle.
Yeah.
Now your outfit themselves are a spectacle with
Yeah.
all the pomp and show. How do you navigate this fine space between spectacle and soul?
The soul, the responsibility of my work and my karigars is the soul part of it, which we do very, very consciously. Honestly, like, I would love to welcome people into my atelier in Bombay and come and meet us and see us and spend a day with us to see it at play. The spectacle part of it, I think, is just more than a spectacle. It's a celebration, and if you like to celebrate loudly, some people may call it a spectacle. But it's actually just a celebration. So I don't really need to manage that aspect of it, because it is so individual, right? What I do need to manage it, will it sell? How many pieces of this will sell? My best selling color, despite what people may think is blue, it's not pink. Neither is it lavender or lilac as fever, it's blue. So I'm just like, okay, we need to make a blue lehenga every collection. So those are things that you have to consider, of course, and I take a lot of inputs from my sales team also. So the breakup is always 30% has to be just all me in the collection, like whatever I want to do. 70% has to be more for what people would want to wear, what they would actually end up wearing. So they will have to be a rose pink, and there will have to be the blue, and there'll have to be my lavender, lilac, because that has become our thing.
So this store in itself is a story. Okay.
Yeah.
What did you think of when you were making that store?
Actually, it is so easy for me because my sister is the designer. She does the interiors and architecture, and she's somebody who gets me. We grew up together. We've read the same stories. We have the same idea of fantasy. I'd never really have to over-explain. Like even the color, she gets it. In fact, she'll come to me and tell me, "No, this is more you," and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, how do you know?" You know. So people ask me, "Did you guys fight while making it?" I was like, "No, she's my older sister. I literally just." I can leave the world on her shoulders and I know she'll do the best job for me.
Okay.
So the brief was very, very simple that A, it has to feel like an entire world. Like it is, you enter in, it shouldn't feel like a store. It shouldn't feel like you're in Delhi or in Bombay. It has to be, it has to look alive. So if you see, we do like these wooden floral veils.
Yeah.
And with like elf homes in it, and our magical creatures that live in it. There is a mer bunny, and there's a seahorse that sprinkles magic dust. So I was like, it has to be a story in itself. It has to look alive, and it has to make people forget where they are or why they've even come there. That was the brief, and that's all that I had to
Even
give
before
her.
I knew you, I met you. One day I just walked into the store just for the fun of it, to put on one of the outfits and just see, because it's so unlike me, because I am that person who will do her blacks and browns and grays and whites. So I just walked into the store because I wanted to just experience what it would be to have like multi-colors on me. I had a little bit of an emotional moment because it made me feel like, wow, it's good to be recognized for nothing but just your clothes.
Yeah.
Right? It gives you that sense of empowerment that I don't have to say anything, I don't have to do anything, I just have to show up in this outfit and people will notice me. Okay, so there's such a strong visual identity to your brand. If you were to describe your bride's emotional energy, what do you want her to feel during her wedding? You already said fun is not like your mainstream word. What is it like you would want her to feel?
Right next to my house, there is a really small banquet hall, and there are very sweet weddings that happen, smaller size weddings. But for that day, the bride and the groom are like celebrities. Everybody wants to see them. Everybody wants to stand next to them, take a picture. What is she wearing? What is he wearing? Oh, he's taking care of her. He's feeding her. It's so voyeuristic in the sense this is how we would watch probably celebrities and be like, oh, they're getting into the car, they're getting off the car. And that's the kind of lens that we put on for the bride and groom also. So they're really the stars of that show for 3 days or 4 days or 5 days. So I want them to feel that. I want them to feel like when they step out, all eyes are on them. And and they should feel like the most beautiful, powerful, magnetic person in that room.
Magnetic is the key word, I feel.
Yeah, it has to
Because
be
that's
magnetic.
what your clothes are, magnetic.
Yeah.
Okay, is there anything else that you want to tell us about your bridal collection, your brides, anything that's coming up for you that we should look out for?
I'm actually really excited. This is the first time I'm actually seeing it. We're launching a high jewelry line. It will be in our Dhanmil store, our flagship store in Delhi. It is beautiful. It's beautiful, and I'm really excited for you to see it. It'll be in stores in September.
If you make your clothes look like precious jewelry, I can't imagine what you're going to make your jewelry look like.
Oh my God, you'll have to come to Delhi and see it then.
I will. Thank you. On that note, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Sonal, and I hope next time I see you dressed in Paparon Preach for one of the events.
Okay, done. We are going to do that.